productivity increases with your transparency and your trustworthiness. Now, I actually, I didn't say it earlier, but I'm going to say it now, that when we talk about a paradox, how many of you are parents? Okay, you know tough love, don't you? Yeah. Tough love is if you have too much tough, not enough love, you got one kind of problem. Too much love, not enough tough, you got another kind of problem. Well, vulnerability and power work that way too. So if you aren't vulnerable, it's very hard to be transparent. And transparency can feel very vulnerable, okay? So, but you still have to be transparent. You're a human being first and a leader second. And if you don't show up as a human being, you'll distance yourself from others. So that's powerful as well, because you let them in. And now you share your humanity with the people who work for you, and they're more willing to give you space as a leader. So the transparency and trustworthiness kind of go hand in hand. If you aren't transparent, if you're pretending everything is okay and it's not, it's visible. They'll see right through it. So vulnerable and powerful is paradoxical tension, and I'm going to say tension with intention, because you have to hold that intent, you have to hold the tension in order to hold a paradox in place. So now, any other questions about productivity before I move on to performance? Okay, here we go. So what stops performance, which is the quality of the work that you're producing? Well, here's some more research from Microsoft. 73% of employees say they need a better reason to go into the office than having to look over their shoulder to make sure you're working. Okay. So what you need to do is embrace the fact that people come in to see each other, not you. They might want to come and see you if you're a leader, but if you're just their manager and you're forcing production and making people feel bad, not so much. So that's one statistic, and that stops performance, right? And maybe even creates some intentional or unintentional sabotage. And then, again, here we're talking about remote work again, 76% of those employees said they'd stay longer. They would stop looking for another job if they felt they could get more learning and development. What's the bottom line of that? Well, if people can't learn, they'll leave, and that's called turnover. Wait, I went by too fast. So the point there is re-recruit your employees all the time, because they have choices. And especially in San Diego, what I hear, 2.6% unemployment. You want to keep people, you better be really good at leading. All right, and performance is best when collaborative. So, so the gift of the collaborative, when I say collaborative, not just in getting team things done, but also in making decisions. So there's a leadership challenge inherent in that. Does anybody want to take a quick guess as to what that inherent challenge is? No quick guess?
You're allowing your team members to make the decisions and you're not calling the shots as the leader.
Could be a threat to you, right?
One of the things Savannah and I talked about is collaboration is powerful for performance and productivity, but sometimes you got to be careful of the squirrel.
Right?
So you can lose track of, so you need to keep that kind of right down.
Sure. So she's saying, hey, there's some squirrels that can show up in that. And you kind of want to make sure that you rein those in. It's one thing to give authority where responsibility follows. It's another if they don't tie together well. Okay, good. So now accountability is also needed to improve performance. Now this is a team, I happen to be doing some team building in Las Vegas, and this is a combination remote live team. So these two people have another two people on the other side of the table you can't see. And then the CEO and I are up there in front of a TV screen, which had two more people that were attending the meeting remotely. So that happens an awful lot, right? So when you're bringing accountability in those remote combined, who knows what's going on right now. There's an awful lot on you to be very clear, bring focus, communicate clearly, and be flexible when required. Did you know, I just got another statistic, 70% of the time if somebody manages people is spent communicating. Think about that. So now, share with your partner, in your experience, now we know how to use the paper, right? In your experience, I didn't put mine up there. I'm leaving it to you to say, what do you think creates a stop? And again, I'm going to give you 1 minute each, and then I'm going to ask for a call out of responses. And if you earned one of these and you didn't get one, see Savannah afterwards, okay? Okay, all right, start, go, with your button.